What is up, Light Fam? Welcome to another video. My name is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. Now, you guys know that I am all about empowering people on this channel, and one of the most empowering words that you can learn today is no. No is a complete sentence, as the famous meme says. And no can actually be your superpower if and only if you use it in alignment with your authentic truth. A lot of times we don't use it in alignment with our authentic truth, which means we're not saying no as often as we should. Why is that? Well, we're going to dig into why that is, as well as why it's best for your greatest version to learn to say no. Right now, let's go. So why should we learn to say no? Well, first, you may not have even considered that saying no is a valid option. So let me establish that saying no is a valid option. You know, a lot of times we're running through our head with all these different scenarios if we say yes, usually against our better judgment, and completely overlook the fact that we can just say no and completely remove ourselves from the situation. So let me qualify what is a valid no. A valid no is where saying yes comes at a compromise or a cost to your self-worth, your self-love, your well-being, or your mental health. A valid no is where saying yes comes at a compromise to your authenticity. Remember, your authentic truth is in alignment with your higher self, source consciousness. So being inauthentic is out of alignment with your greatest version and in alignment with ego, which is in alignment with fear. So you have to stop and ask yourself, what are you fearing if you speak your authentic truth and say no? Are you fearing that they won't like you anymore? Are you fearing that they will oust you from their group? Are you fearing that you won't get that second date? Are you fearing that you're going to get the cold shoulder? Oh no, please no, not the cold shoulder. So if an authentic no centers us in our authentic truth and our sovereignty, why would we give an inauthentic yes? Well, because we think we're going to get something in return, basically. Remember when I said earlier, an inauthentic yes comes at a compromise or a cost to your self-worth, self-love, mental health, authentic truth. So that inauthentic yes allows you to physically see and measure what your self-worth, self-love, and authentic truth is worth to you by looking at what you get in return for that disingenuous yes. So that disingenuous yes shows you the price tag that you have placed on your self-worth, self-love, and mental health. In my opinion, self-love, self-worth, mental health, authentic truth are invaluable. So don't place a cheap price tag on your self-worth out there, Light Fam, with that disingenuous yes. Why should we learn to say no? Well, once you become known as someone with the ability to say no, you will experience a lot less shenanigans from people that are trying to use or manipulate you. They will already know ahead of time that you're not a pushover, and they will seek an easier target elsewhere. Also, saying no helps to expose people's agendas. If somebody is really upset with you or even vindictive that you're not sacrificing your self-worth, self-love, mental health just so that they can get what they want, then you know that they care more about themselves than they care about you, and you shouldn't feel guilty about putting your self-love, self-worth, and mental health first. If it's a valid no, as we described earlier, then you shouldn't feel guilty, and you shouldn't feel like you need to give this long, drawn-out explanation just so that they can feel warm and fuzzy about you saying no when they were coming from a manipulative energy in the first place. Now, that famous meme, no is a complete sentence, will usually say right underneath, no further explanation is required. I like to give a very concise, simple, straightforward explanation, because what does an authentic, straightforward explanation do? Well, it establishes your boundaries. It makes your boundaries of self-love, self-worth, mental health, authentic truth crystal clear to the other person, which helps to prevent that other person from stepping over your boundaries in the future. Why should we learn to say no? Well, saying no helps to build confidence, character, and autonomy. You're programming and rewiring your subconscious to understand that you don't need to sell your self-worth, mental health, or authentic truth in exchange to get something that you're conceptualizing as outside of yourself and therefore not your identity. Do you believe that love is something outside of you that you have to get instead of understanding that it's your actual identity? Well, if that's the case, then you're more apt to give an inauthentic yes to get your concept of love in exchange from the external. Do you believe that abundance is something that is outside of you that you have to get instead of understanding that you are the physical embodiment of abundance itself? Well, if that's the case, you're more likely to give a disingenuous yes to get your concept of abundance from the outside. Do you believe that health is given to you from the external instead of understanding that absolute health is your identity and health is easily attained through a healthy lifestyle? Well, if you don't understand that, then you are more likely to do something that is against your authentic truth and your common sense to get your concept of health from the outside. So this is why saying no helps to establish that sense of autonomy, which is a major part of your authentic truth. But be warned, Light Fam, as soon as you start using your new superpower of saying no, you're going to lose some relationships. But fear not, these are just the conditional relationships, meaning the relationships that were conditional of the other person's needs coming before your self-worth, self-love, and authentic truth. But this is where you find your vibe tribe, the ones that stay with you, that stick with you, that respect your boundaries, that exist in a healthy, mutually beneficial relationship, not a one-sided one, are your tribe. So that space is now available where the conditional relationships once were, for the universe to bring in the new relationships that are a vibrational match to your new higher sense of self-worth, self-love, and authentic truth. So anytime you take action steps in alignment with your greatest version, the universe is not taking away, but rather making space for what is a vibrational match to your higher frequency. Now, question of the day. Why do you believe it's important to learn to say no? Leave those comments below, Light Fam, so that we can all learn from one another. And if you need a helping hand learning how to say no so that you can step into your autonomy and sovereignty, we can work one-on-one through Zoom. Check the description below for that. If you have a question for me, add me over on Instagram_Lightways. Until next time, I will see all of you beautiful souls in the next video. Light, love, and abundance to all that are watching and to all you love. Peace, guys.